Hey, we're back here with Ratchet Builds. Today I'm going to be working on the Rancher again. So I've got a couple of different things that I need to get done with this four-wheeler. So in the previous video, y'all saw where I got the motor back running again. Had that stupid plastic clip that was stuck down in the intake valve, causing it to stick open. That's what caused all my first problems with this four-wheeler, flooding out, just too much fuel getting into the cylinder. Plus it was basically like a massive vacuum leak, so it couldn't build proper compression. Today, we're going to address what I was talking about at the end of that video, and that is the shifting on it. So on the four-wheeler, if I use my shifter here, the first few minutes of driving and everything, it shifts perfectly fine. Then after you get up to some decent speed in it, because my speedometer doesn't work on this anymore, after you get up some decent speed, like third, fourth gear, and you actually really throttle it and the things start getting warm, it'll quit shifting. You can't go up gears, can't go down gears. So that's going to be the main thing that I want to fix today. And the next thing that I want to get done to it is, once I figure out what's going on with that, is I got a new handlebar for it. This one that's on here is kind of bent. Now this isn't for the Rancher, this is actually for a motorcycle, but it's the same size as the Rancher. This one sets up a little bit higher and a little bit wider, I think, than what this new one's going to be. So, we'll see. We're just gonna have to see. I think that's gonna set it off a little bit, but also I don't want to buy the Rancher handlebars. They were like 150, 160 bucks. And then this one was only like 33 bucks. So I cheaped out, I'm not gonna lie. But we'll get to those parts later. First thing we need to address is the shifting problem. So let me get this moved over to the other shed real quick, and we're gonna start testing out the shifting issue, which is gonna be multiple test drives and stuff like that. So let's go. Of course the battery's too weak. Oh, battery's kind of weak. Let's see if the old pull starter works. Full start for the win. Oh. Whoops. One thing I've noticed with this older Rancher here is the ability for it to like climb and go over stuff. Like I have a newer one that I think it's like a 2010, 2012 model, something like that. It doesn't seem to climb as good as this older one does. Like just this simple thing of like going up the bricks here to get into my shed, because, well, I don't have any ramps set up right now. This one just creeps right up it, as y'all saw in the video there. But the other one, I generally have to bump it to actually get it to go. I can't just ease on the throttle and start pulling myself up. But that also could just be the way I drive versus how these four-wheelers handle. So, first thing we're going to do here is the shifter. What I'm going to do is unplug this shifter. I'm going to put a new one on it. We're going to take it for a test drive and see if that takes care of it. I'm about 90% sure this is not the issue. What my issue more than likely is going to be is this little angle sensor that's right behind this plate. This is the original one on there. It looks like someone's been in here before. So I'm thinking there's something wrong with that sensor or something like that. Supposedly that's what keeps this thing from shifting. Now, the second thing that I'm going to try out before putting on that new sensor is I did buy the bypass harness. I just want to make sure that it works before I go and replace the sensor. So if I replace it and I still have problems shifting it, then at least I have the backup of that. So let's go ahead and get that piece unplugged real quick. All right, because I am going to be changing out the handlebars, for right now on this shifter knob, I'm just going to lay it in my lap to do the testing with. So it's pretty easy to get to. I'm just going to drape my wire over my handlebars here. And down here, this green plug is what goes up to my shifter. So that's my original one there. I've got it unplugged. I've got this one. They did change the color on it. So we'll just get that plugged in real quick. All right. So let's go drive it and see if my shifting problem is gone. All right. So, new development here. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I just plugged up that new shifter piece that I just got laying, that I just have laying right here on the seat. But whenever I go to turn the key on and try to start it, I'm getting my red light for the oil, which means that I've got another issue here. So between this, driving it from my other shed to over here, something has went wrong. Of course, right? First thing I'm going to do is remove my seat, go ahead and get my jump box on here, and see if it's just a power issue or something like that. So let me find my jump box, and then we're going to hook it up and see if it starts. Alright, got the jump box. Just going to hook it up to the battery real quick and see if it's just a power issue, since I did have to just pull start it. But I hadn't seen that light before. So sending power. I'm going to turn the switch back on. Well, that time it went off. Oh, what is going on here? So it looks like I didn't plug my connector all the way in. So I couldn't get it down into neutral. I plugged up the old one real quick, and then I was able to get it back down to neutral for some reason, and then plug up the new one and then shift through the gears. So now let me get it jumped off. Let's go take it for a ride and let's see if it's working or not. Alright, sorry for the four-wheeler running, but I wanted to show you all this before I even got anywhere. So as soon as I crank it up, the shifter is not working. So I don't know if this piece is bad or if the sensor is keeping this from working properly. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is change out that sensor and see what happens. I was going to go for a ride with this, but apparently that's not the issue, because I'm having the same problem before I even get out of the shed. So let's get the sensor, let's get that installed. So first thing I got to do is get this little metal plate removed. Ooh, make sure you put it in reverse. And third one, I believe that's the only three that are holding this cover on here. Slowly. There we go. Got that cover off. Now we have access to our sensor down here. So first thing I'm going to do is unplug it and then look down in here. So my pins in here are a little bit smushed. I'm going to go ahead and refresh those and bend them out just a little bit so they make good connection. But I'm still going to replace the sensor here as well. Let's go. Seemed a little bit loose. That came out mighty easy. I think this has already been replaced before, which means I may have another problem other than just the sensor. I wonder if I've got a wiring problem. Alright, so with a new sensor installed, let's get this thing cranked up. My battery is weak on it, so I'm probably going to have to hand start it. So we got to make sure we're in neutral, my light's off. So let's grab this. Yep, single pull. Gotta love the pull starts. Alright, let's see if it'll shift. Well, we got reverse at least. See if I can back down these ramps one-handed. Alright, we're in first. Second. Third. Alright, so what I'm going to do is take it for a quick little spin, see if I can get it up to speed. I'm going to take it down there to the flat part of my driveway before I get up too much speed. Oh man. Trying to steer with one hand and record is a little bit difficult here. Just, oh man, come on. Let's go ahead and go. Oh. We're right back to where we were before. Look. So, no shift up and down once again. But if I do this and turn the key off, see, now we can shift again. And that's with the new sensor. That means our new sensor didn't work. Funny thing is I kind of threw myself into a loop here of a testing nightmare. And I've already tested that sensor out, the new one. Probed out the wires. I've got my 5-volt reference. I've got my ground, and then the signal that is actually coming from the sensor. So basically adds more ground or adds more voltage to it through a resistor setup in there. And it does go from 0 volts ground all the way up to 5 volts and everywhere in between. So I know the sensor is fine. My issue is that sensor goes all the way back here to this component right here. This is for your charging system. This is going to be your computer, the main unit that makes this four-wheeler run and shift and all that fun stuff. I believe my computer is actually bad on this because I've already checked out the OEM shifter up here. So my buttons right here, I've already checked those. Those are working just like they're supposed to. They've got all their powers, grounds, and everything, and they're sending out the right signals. I have two options here. So in the last video, I showed you all the bypass harness. I think that's the route I'm gonna go. The bypass harness is only like $30 to $50. The computer is like $250 to $300. Don't know if I wanna put that kind of money into this four-wheeler right now. So right now I'm gonna run the bypass. So let me show y'all how to do that. I've actually already got it semi-installed on this just in case it came down to this situation. First thing is removing your seat. Your harness will come with a ground hookup and a power hookup. I've just got mine run underneath the seat. I'm going to probably run it down this channel with the stock wiring harness, but I just kind of quickly ran it for in case something happened on the test drive. If we come over here to this side, my harness comes up to this relay setup. This relay, what it's doing is bypass the computer and it's taking it directly to the shift solenoid itself. So whenever you hit the buttons up and down, it's not talking to the computer and you're just shifting through the gears through these relays. So there's two things that you have to plug up on the front. The first thing you got to do is unplug the screen connector, which can be a little bit of a pain. So I'm going to try to get y'all balanced there. So green connector comes out. This goes up, this side goes up to my shifter up here. The other side go back to the computer. So all we do is we plug this one in, and then I take this one and plug in there. Now we've got to control the solenoid, which is this one right here. So we'll unplug it. Whoops, sorry for the shaking. So the upper connector here goes back to the computer. The lower connector goes down to my solenoid. So what I'm going to do is just plug it into the aftermarket harness. You can see I've just got things kind of just taped up and zip tied up. Now what we'll do, make sure we're still in neutral. And I've got to pull start this one. So here we go. We'll crank back up. Alright, so as you can see there, with the bypass on there, I can shift through all the gears the whole time. Don't have any issues shifting or anything like that. The only thing I do notice with it is you definitely got to make sure you come all the way off the gas before shifting, because it's just going to throw you into next gear. And even on second, it'll try to like lift the front up a little bit when you're trying to shift. So as for the shifting on this four-wheeler with that little bypass harness, the only thing I really am trying to say is that it's a little bit more harsh than what the original shifting is. So the original shifting is being controlled by that computer. It helps smooth things out a little bit better. With that bypass harness, I'm directly connected to the solenoid, and it gives it a little bit more directly into gear. Like a real hard shift is the only way I can explain it. So just be careful if you do decide to do that. If y'all haven't noticed, I look a little bit different than what I did at the beginning of this video, and that's because some time has passed. The day I was shooting this video was Thanksgiving. I went to sleep and just never got back up to finish the video. I was editing it, and that's whenever I realized I never put an ending to it. So let's go ahead and go over what I've got done in this video. So we did the shifting. Got the new shifter up here. Went ahead and ran that harness. I've actually got it ran right through here where the stock harness is. I relocated the relays, kind of stuck up here out of the way because I don't know how waterproof these are or how well they're sealed. And then of course I've cleaned up a lot of my wiring in the front, so no more zip ties, no more tape, all that's gone. That's got this four-wheeler at least shifting and driving like it's supposed to again. There are several other little issues. There are several other little issues that need to be taken care of. I've recently just went ahead and redid all the vacuum lines that go to your front and rear differential. I did that off camera. And the last thing I need to do is I still need to finish doing testing on my cooling fan because it doesn't seem to be coming on, but at this point, I realize the temperature is so high in it, it takes these Honda Ranchers a real long time to kick the cooling fan on. So I'm going to drive it like it is for a while and see if it comes on. Probably at least go ahead and get my plastics put back on. If y'all like this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Please leave me a comment on what y'all think about the old Honda Rancher and what we should do with it. I've got a couple different plans of maybe either just putting it back completely stock and have it as a secondary four-wheeler for friends to ride on, or go stupid with it and build some custom arms and lift kits and stuff like that for it. But just leave a comment on what y'all think y'all would like to see. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Y'all have a good one. Be safe out there.